Hi, welcome to SMAX Tutorials. In this tutorial we'll talk about the one-page scroll system. We really love this. It is a very nice addition to SMAX. Let's have a look to see what we're going to do. So we see now in websites, a lot of websites, because of download speeds that are a lot faster, we can scroll and scroll and scroll our page and have lots and lots of different information on our page. So we can easily do that with SMAX, because what we do is we have different layers that we can work on. So it's very easy to work on one layer at a time. Okay, so if we look on this, we've got 3 layers here. So let's put these active. When we're working on the home page, we always need to refresh the site because of download speed, so it's download really quick. So we've got display, and then we can see we've got another layer here, and we've got another layer here. So we'll look at that in more detail a bit later. I just wanted to show you how it works. Okay, so let's take these off, these events and team. Let's add another layer. So the first thing we need to do to have this active is we need to go into our setup, and we need to make sure that we've got home page scroll rows active. This needs to be on. This one is sub pages scroll rows active. So what you can do is you could have not just the home page acting as a block of layers, but another page can be acting as a block of layers as well. So how does this work? We've got this active here. So we can see at the moment we've got our home page, and we got these 3 pages nested under home page. So if we go into block 1, we can see we've got home page block 1. These pages are nested under home page, which means that the home page is driven by these blocks. If we had 10 blocks in here, we'd have 10 layers on the home page. We can also have another page that we set up and call it test page, let's say, and have blocks underneath that page. In doing so, you create the same system as this. Each block underneath the main page creates our layers. So let's now add a layer to our home page. We've got block 1 active, so we've only got 1 block at the moment. Let's just have a look to see what that looks like. So we've got our gallery here. That'll be another tutorial, and we can see we've got 1 block. Okay, so let's create another block. So list all, so we go add. I'm going to go block 2, and then we're going to put it under the home page. So when we add it under the home page, it is now treating this block as another layer. Okay, block 2. We can reorder these as well by just typing in the number here. So now let's look at block 2. So let's just, to show you exactly, we're going to set the background of this block to red, so you can see what we're looking at. Now, when we're dealing with the home page, we need to be refreshing each time in here, because this rebuilds the home page for faster loading. So we will refresh that. Let's have a look. Right, so now we've got 1 strip here, and we've got another strip here, but we've got nothing in it. But let's add another block. So we're going to add block 2. No, block 3. And we're going to put it under the home page, which means it then gives us the one-page scroll system. Block 3, and in block 3 we'll have a different background color. We'll have blue. Save. Refresh. here, and we've got 2 layers now. But really, what can you do with this? Well, the great thing is with this, it separates out the layers that you're working on. You could turn a layer on or off depending if it's active or not, and you can really build up many layers over a time. So let's now look at block 2 and let's put some content in there. So the best way of getting the content is using the drag and drop editor. So we select a content block here. I'm going to select one with some images on. You can have the one here as well. So always need to save. Okay, and then we need to refresh. So now our red layer has got this. So we now scroll down. We've got this display one here, and then we've got the red. So very powerful indeed, because what we can do now is we can easily format each layer. Not only can we have as much content as we like and drag a block onto the layer, but we can also have the background. And this is where it gets really interesting, because we can upload a background image. So I'm not seeing my computer at the moment, but I'm going to be uploading selecting a background now. Let's choose that one, New York City. Okay, and we choose. I'm now selecting an area on the page. Crop, save. Okay. So now let's refresh. We can see we've got our background image in here. And let's have a look now what it's going to look like. See now, we've got a background image. Parallax scroll, let's put that one on, see what that does. Right, so the parallax scroll works for the backgrounds. Okay, so now what we'll do is we're going to choose a preset background image. We've got loads and loads of presets in here. Let's choose let me have a look. Let's choose this one. So we've got a preset and a color over the top as well. So look now what that's going to look like. So what we do there is we take off our color, or have it. Let's have the color a little bit like that. There we go. So we've got a little bit of a faint color over the top, but we've got a background. You can see the background sort of moves differently. So that gives us the parallax effect. So let's turn that off. Refresh. Now you can see that the background moves in the same rate as the scroll. So that works really well. Okay, so let's now look at this. This is the margin between each layer. This is a full 100% width layer. So really that is pretty much about it for the basic layer. Okay, so now we can show how we can move on to a bit more advanced, because these layers you can really make some interesting stuff with them. If we look at this one here, events, in this all we have is this block of code. That's all we have for that whole layer. And we've got a background image here. Okay, so we this one here to activate it, here to refresh, And let's have a look now what that layer does. Look, it brings us all this, that one bit of code, because what we're doing is we're now sourcing this one layer from our events. So let's have a look at events. In here we've got 3 events, but rather than having to type that on the home page and go into each event, we can have our home page drive that dynamically. So what we're doing here is we're saying blog preset 0 columns, so we're having the whole width. If you put 1 here, you'd have, or 2, you'd have 2 columns. And this is our layout that we want to use, 214. And in here we've got our layouts. So this one here, 214. So we select this one here, and we put on our home page in here, and then that drives that from that layout. So it's a little bit more advanced, but I want to show you how the system with just very simple things can be driven. You can have some really amazing effects, because that one little bit of code does all that. Let's turn off. So now we've got our block 2, block 3 that we just experimented with. Take those off, and every time we alter the home page we need to refresh. And then we have our display here, we have our layout here. Let's turn on the team, okay, and we'll have a look and see how that works. So we've on here, so we've got our display, we've looked at how that works. We've got our layer of events, but look at the team here. Got where are we getting this data from? Let's have a look. So team, this is our team. So we're driving this data into another layer, which is this layer. So let's have a look to see. It's exactly the same as the other. Team, news preset, 4 columns, and this is our layout that we want to use for that. So if I put here 3 columns, you'll see now that rather than having the 4, we've got 3. And you can change the layout as well. So if we look in here, layouts, got team. This one here is 244. We can see this. But I could have, let's say, 239, preset 239. So I go in here, go to this one, team, and I can have 239. Let's see what that's going to look like. 239, and we've got team there. And now we've got another setup. Very, very simple, and we can click that and we go through to the team. So that's another block that is on our home page. You can see there's not much of a spacing in between here, but that can all be adjusted. At the moment we're just discussing the one-page scroll. So if we had another page, let's add sub-page, and we add another page as well, layer, one layer, and add under sub-page, okay, and we look on here, we've got sub-page, one layer, and let's say we now go into our setup, responsive, and we have sub-pages scroll active. Then that would mean that when you click on this sub-page, this will now act as layers exactly like the home page. So each page that you create could be a fact, or it could be just layers. So that we see that very often now in websites, that we have many layers that are added. So I'm just going back to check on that one there. That's it. So, well, I think that's about it. I think that we've covered quite a bit there. It's a little bit longer than I thought, this video, but there's so much to show on this. Hope you liked the video, and hope you've learned something. Thank you very much for watching.